We've got Christian, he, him, is atheist, says that Jesus's teachings about divorce and marriage are the solution to abortion. Well, hey, Christian, you are on the show with Armin, Justin, and SR. What is up?
Hello, just making sure you can hear me.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yep. Okay, great stuff. Yeah, so I just wanted to make a quick comment about the last caller. Just wanted to say that...
No, not the last caller. Can you do the question, the thing that you told?
I just wanted to make...
Focus on what you said.
I just wanted to make a quick comment.
No. Do that after. Do that. Start with what you said you're going to call about, and then maybe if we have time, we'll go to that. But go.
Hey, so my point is, right, is that I think that if we all follow the Christian teachings, Jesus' teachings on marriage,
okay,
and pretty much how the covenant of what is taught about marriage, or I believe that would kind of solve. It wouldn't negate the need for abortion.
How?
But that can't be true.
Solve
because
abortion. Why does that even need to be solved?
Yeah.
As if something bad has happened. Yeah.
Well, why would we need to have abortions? I mean, that's a huge emotional impact on the woman and the man.
We need to have it because it's a medical procedure in case there's problems during pregnancy.
So.
Right. I mean, your base assumption is that abortion is bad, and the words of Jesus would fix it, but that can't be true because Jesus said to follow the laws of Moses. In Matthew chapter 5, 17 through 19, he specifically states that whoever teaches others to not follow the law will be called least in the kingdom of heaven, and whoever teaches them and teaches and does them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. And in the law of Moses, what we find in Numbers chapter 5 is that if your wife is unfaithful to you, she drinks the bitter waters, the potion of cursing, and she will in fact have an abortion if it turns out that it was true. But is
it forced abortion?
Basically, it's a God abortion. God is aborting the baby.
That's actually problematic abortion. Okay,
right? That is
actually, right. That is bad abortion. Forced abortion is bad abortion. Okay, yeah.
But children, according to the biblical narrative, are always under the authority of their parents. Deuteronomy chapter 21 says you can stone your rebellious son if he is too rebellious. Exodus 31 says if you curse your father or mother, that you can stone them. It also says in verse 17 or 15 that if you strike your father or mother, then you get stoned. And Jesus advocated for this. In Mark chapter 7, Jesus quite literally said he chastised the Pharisees for creating an oral law around the Mosaic law that prevented them from executing the sons that were dishonoring their parents. So even Jesus was okay with executing rebellious sons, and these are not infants. These are actually full-grown children, probably even teenagers. So I don't see anything in the Bible that would be against abortion.
And Justin, what does the Bible say about divorce?
So it says two things in divorce. In Deuteronomy 24, it says that if a man divorces his wife and she goes and finds another husband, that she's not permitted to go back and marry her first husband if that doesn't work out, because then she's defiling her prior marriage. So once a woman becomes defiled, it's that according to the biblical language, she's not supposed to go back to her first husband, which is wild because technically the second husband is receiving a defiled woman, but they kind of bypass that. So that's the only law about divorce in the Old Testament, which is barbaric. Jesus said in Matthew and elsewhere that Moses permitted you to divorce, but it was not his will to allow it. In fact, God hates divorce, according to the prophet Malachi. And so Jesus is saying that I don't permit you to divorce unless in the case of infidelity.
Because in some Christian countries, because of the Bible, they have made divorce illegal. And because of this, a lot of women are stuck with their abusers. And it's a very tragic situation. This specific teaching in the Bible has cursed a lot of women's lives forever. It's really horrific.
It actually leads to more abortions, by the way. Forcing women to stay with their abusive husbands leads to more abortions, not less.
Okay. I just wanted to ask a simple question, really. If we could avoid abortion, would that be a good thing?
No.
If it didn't have to happen in the first place, would it be a good thing?
Yeah. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. But then we would be living in a completely different world than the one that we live in. If liver transplants didn't have to happen, would that be a better world? Fuck yeah, Christian. I mean, if cancer treatments didn't have to happen, would that be a better world? Hell yeah. Did you know there are specific surgeries and practices designed for children, for babies that are under a few months old? The only time we ever bring out these medical tools is when a barely alive infant, innocent as all hell, is about to die on the table in front of us. That's fucking horrible. I'm right with you, bro. If the world wasn't such where these terrible things happened and these medical procedures weren't necessary, yeah, that'd be better, man. But the problem is that we live in a world where these things do happen really regularly. Last time I was on here, I was yelling and screaming about the mortality rate of individuals giving birth in the United States. And you're lucky, man. You're lucky. You're in the UK right now. Anybody that you know that gets pregnant or is giving birth has a higher likelihood of surviving than they do in my country. That's psychotic to me that that's the world we live in. But in part, the reason that we live in that world is because this very necessary medical procedure is being restricted by individuals that have absolutely no understanding about it. And they are completely making this world a hellhole for individuals for honestly no good reason. Because when you look at the only possible explanation for why to be against legal and safe and rare abortions, it's religious. Problem is, not a single one of these religions have a leg to stand on. Just like Justin was saying, there is more reason to believe that Judaism and Christianity support abortion than be against it. What do you think, man?
What's the big deal with abortion? Like, shouldn't we be focusing on reducing the cost of abortion? Like, what is this such a big deal? Like, the main cost of abortion is either medical complications, so with the modernization and better medicine and with science, that could reduce the cost of abortion physically. And the main emotional cost of abortion is religious people making it a taboo thing. So if we could make it a non-taboo thing, emotionally, it would be less costly. So I'd rather focus on making abortion less of a deal, both medically and emotionally, rather than making it not necessary. I'd rather making it something very mundane and not that big of a deal. Like, why are you so focused on removing abortion? I don't think that's an issue.
Oh, I just want to say that regardless of whether it's religious or not, I think a woman, and I would say a man as well, go through a great deal of emotional pain. I think whether or not that.
Oh, my mom had tons of abortion, and she didn't think much about it. She had abortions before me, and I asked her if they were a big deal. I mean, except the first one was a big deal because she was in Iran and it was illegal, and she couldn't find a doctor to do it at that time. And she had to do it herself with a coat hanger, and she almost died because of it. So that one was a big deal. But the rest of them, she was in the UK and Germany when she did those, she didn't think anything about it. They were not a big deal at all. So only the one that she did when in a country which saw abortion as a taboo, that was the only one that was a big deal to her. The rest of them were not an issue at all.
Okay, I mean, maybe we take different perspectives on this, but I just think any life that's going to be born or has the potential to be born has a right to live. But I understand the whole point about conversations, but I want to focus on Jesus.
But what if we granted you that? What if we granted you the argument that let's say, for example, we agree with you. Let's say, yes, life begins at conception, and the best possible world is where all of those lives make it to birth and have a thriving childhood and adulthood. Cool. All right. But the Bible doesn't fix the problem of abortion. You still have to find a reason why the Bible can solve it, because the biblical text is pretty clear. Like, God is executing children all the time. He does so in 2 Kings chapter 2 when a group of them chastise the prophet Elijah, and then they get torn apart to shreds by 2 she-bears that come out of the woods. He does so to the Egyptian firstborn, having done nothing wrong. He does again in 1 Samuel 15:3 when he sicks the army of Saul upon the Amalekites. God has no problem with wiping out infants, whether they're in the womb or not. In fact, when in Leviticus 26, Jeremiah 19, and elsewhere, it literally says, if you do not follow these laws, if you do not obey my covenant, I will make the war on you so great that the children are ripped from your wombs and that you eat your own flesh to survive. And then that happens. It's quoted in the book of Lamentations that Jeremiah writes. So God quite literally is okay with children being executed, whether they're in the womb or outside of the womb, even in the most grisly of cases.
I completely understand your point about the Old Testament and stuff like that, but I just wanted to focus specifically on Jesus' teachings. Now,
but is Jesus God?
I haven't made my point. Hold on. So let me just make my point, right?
Wait. Real quick. Hang on, Christian. Hang on. This is our show. You called us, right? You came in and you made a claim. You said, hey, look, I think if we focus on Jesus's teaching, I think that solves the issue for abortion. Now, we had a little pushback. We said, hey, we don't really think abortion is an issue the same way you're saying it. But then Justin just laid out a lot of really good reasons, in my opinion, as to why the Bible, what you said was going to fix this problem of abortion, why it doesn't actually do that. And you just said, hey, I don't want to focus on that stuff. I just want to go on and talk about some other things real quick. But what Justin was saying applies to the New Testament just as much as the Old Testament. If Jesus is God, right? And if Jesus was fulfilling Jewish law from the Old Testament, like, this is important, okay? You can't just skip past that and say, well, there's some other nice things in the New Testament that I like more, so I'm going to focus on those. So how do you deal with this kind of tension here where you're saying, look, man, I read the Bible in the New Testament and it says no abortion, but Justin brought up all of these instances where God seems to be really cool with killing kids. Like, how do you deal with that?
Okay, I just wanted to make my point first, right? So
he's not going to deal with it.
Answer Ansar's questions for asked the question. Answer.
Do you believe that what you just said, Christian, was in any way, shape, or form the way an adult should respond in a conversation? Like, do you feel like if you sat down with your boss or a family member and that back and forth just happened, that they would just continue talking with you like everything was normal?
Okay, you fired like so many questions at me and so many points.
So I can do it again if you need me to. I'm happy to do that, man. But don't just fucking waste my time and pretend that I didn't fucking say anything. Like, Justin, Armin, they're busy. I'm not. I ain't doing shit with myself, okay? Fine, man. Waste my time all the fuck you want then. But Jesus Christ, dude. Like, it is fascinating to me that you would give a response like that. Let's try it again, okay? I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna make it real short, real quick, okay? Are you following along, Christian? Can we start over together?
Okay, first and foremost.
Awesome. So hang on, because you said yes, so we're gonna do the start over. So here it is. Ready? Real quick. You came in and said that there are teachings of Jesus in the New Testament that get rid of the need for the problem of abortion, as you titled it. Justin brought up a lot of points that seem to indicate that both the Old and New Testament are not in your favor there. How do you square that, Christian?
Okay, so let me make my point. I have not even had a chance to finish my point. So,
can you guys hear him?
He went quiet for a second, but
he did go quiet because I have the fucking mute button, Christian. What a weird asshole that would come in here and just disregard 3 times in a row just a normal conversation. You will absolutely be allowed to make your point. Dude, we talked with Caleb for 30 minutes. We talked with Caleb for 30 minutes. We gave him a full uninterrupted a minute. You couldn't sit here for 30 seconds on hold, and you ran away like a child. Grow up, hit us back whenever you're ready.